everybody. This is Dan Ferrisi, Editor-in-Chief of Commercial Integrator, and welcome to AV Plus, the podcast for the commercial AV integration industry. This week, we have a conversation with Sandi Stambaugh, who is SVP, Endpoint Solutions with TD SYNNEX. We talk about the coming together of TD SYNNEX now that we have several months of perspective and the important ways in which the organization can help commercial AV integrators and bolster the AV integration channel in general. We look forward to this conversation and thank you so much for joining us. As always, please like and subscribe to our YouTube page, and please subscribe to the AV Plus podcast on Apple and on Spotify. I'm so happy to be joined this morning by Sandi Stambaugh, who is Senior Vice President, Endpoint Solutions with TD SYNNEX. Thanks so much for joining me this morning, Sandi.
Hey, Dan, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. So there's a lot to talk about. It has been an eventful 12 months or so for TD SYNNEX with the merger, with the acquisition. So I want to get into all the details, how it's going to benefit those in the commercial AV and in the IT channels. And I can't think of anybody who could give us more insight into that subject. So let's dive right in. The merger of SYNNEX and Tech Data has created in TD SYNNEX the world's largest IT distributor by revenue. Can you share some insight about how this merger came to fruition, the benefits of it?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's definitely been a ride over the past many months. So we announced close in September, and yeah, we've been working hard to integrate since then. And I'll tell you, Dan, it has been just really fun, right? We're having a lot of fun here at TD SYNNEX. So the merger itself, it's so synergistic. When you look at the two companies and the investments that they each had made in the advanced solution space and in the endpoint solution space, the global capabilities between the two organizations as we kind of come together, and then also things like the value-added capabilities, so vertical market practices and technology-specific practices, next level vendor and integrator services offering, an expansive line card. There's just so many synergies between the two companies, and as they come together, investments that we've made each individually are actually even becoming more important and more valuable to our partners as we've come together through this integration.
Absolutely. So let's even dive deeper into some of those benefits, especially that channel partners, that MSPs are going to realize as a result of this merger. I know that, customer support capabilities, for example, are key to the TD SYNNEX value offering. So can you dive a little bit deeper and specify in some of those benefits with regard especially to customer support capabilities?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I like to just say it's more, right? So, we pull the team together, and more sales offering, more coverage from both an inside perspective and also in the field. The line card obviously is more expansive. There's more cohesive technology solutions. So end to end, whether it's hardware or it's the IoT or analytics, services offerings around as a service and financing, subscription based and that type of thing, and then more capability to support global partners as well. So global opportunities are becoming more and more of what our partners are asking us to help them support. And as a combined TD SYNNEX, we have the ability to help support them in those spaces. Other areas like services, so pre-sales support, integration capability, deployment, post-sales support, and it's just more, right? So between the combined companies, and I think that the part that we're really just trying to keep in mind is taking the best of both companies, and where best doesn't exist, the really fun part is creating best. So best practices, within all of the services that we're offering our partners, and certainly we're, keeping in mind our customers in this process. It's customer first, customer experience first, and so things like our advisory councils are even more important during this time, and they're really helping us understand where we can, enhance and expand what we've already offered as a combined company.
So as you said, kind of the order of the day or the word of the day is more of everything, more benefits in all respects. You did mention financing though, and I know financing support is particularly important. Leveraging the power, of TD SYNNEX as a combined organization. Can you delve into the financing support that the organization can offer, the implications of the merger with respect to financing?
Sure, absolutely. So, our financing team is amazing, and they were so proactive, and really put forward a commitment of 1+1 = at least two, with our partners on the front end. And so, as you can imagine, concern from many of our customers on the front end was concern about their credit line, concern about how this would impact their business. And our finance team came forward and actually have offered even more credit. They've been creative, where credit limits existed on one side or the other, and maybe they needed to balance a little differently. They were able to do that. But on top of that, they actually extended more credit to our partners during this time. And beyond traditional lines of credit, they've actually even doubled down on some of the creative financing capabilities that we have. So again, I mentioned, subscription-based or as a service. Other areas where, maybe we provide back office support and some other services within the financing piece just to help offset costs for our partners. So they've really doubled down in areas like that. And it's not just extending a finance, offering, but also helping our customers operationalize those within their business practices. And so that, again, that goes back to more, right? So we've got more people, more coworkers within the TD SYNNEX world that are there to help support our customers during that process.
So I recall several months ago at this point, at that time, SYNNEX was one of the sponsors of an NSCA webinar that was all about supply chain and supply chain challenges. And one of the things you underscored and kind of articulated very well was that organizations in our industry can leverage the power and the scope and the scale of a distributor like TD SYNNEX to ameliorate some of those problems. It's not going to solve them entirely, but you can be a key partner in ameliorating some of those difficulties. So can you talk about this merged organization, TD SYNNEX, how channel partners can leverage its power, leverage its scope, leverage its scale to battle back against or at least ameliorate supply chain problems?
Yeah, for sure. So, we are not through the supply chain challenges that we've been experiencing over the past year, but we are getting better. It is important. I've shared this with, our integrator partners in several different forums, that aligning with a partner like TD SYNNEX, when you have challenges like this, is so important. Our inventory levels are at an all-time high, but our backlog is at an all-time high as well, right? So we very quickly moved with our manufacturer partners to extend our forecasting with them. So beyond, the normal timeframes, we did future forecasting with them to try to help them kind of get ahead of it as well. And so, our partners, it's very important for our customers to make sure that they're communicating, make sure that they're sharing forecasts as much as possible, to be more proactive. So don't wait until that end user PO is in hand before you start sharing that information, right? And that's where we can get ahead of that for you. So we have, warehouses all across the country. Those warehouses, we can use to help bring inventory in and hold for you for your projects, and that type of thing. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that, we're a secret weapon in the tool belt of our partners. And so, as they're navigating these challenges and trying to take care of their customers, staying close to us and helping to share forecasts and that type of thing is really important.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the things you also said during the course of that webinar was that you may actually also be able to help with allocation if a product is scarce or something like that, that you may actually be able to get allocation that an integrator or something like that might not be able to get on their own. Is that the case?
Absolutely. So we're communicating with our manufacturers daily, sharing with them, pipeline projects, and those that are managing their allocation really tightly because of shortages. That information is just so valuable and helps them prioritize allocation. And so, absolutely. So that's something that we can do. And we have other capabilities where we can, as I mentioned, reserve inventory on behalf of our partners, so that as they have a rollout schedule or those types of things, we can help make sure that they have confidence in the process and that they can deliver that confidence to their end customers.
So one of the things that makes me happiest about being in this industry is its dynamicism, the fact that it's ever changing, it's totally not stagnant. And that's certainly the case as well with the distribution landscape. So since this merger kind of fully came to fruition in early September, can you describe how the distribution landscape has changed, either in general or as a result of SYNNEX and Tech Data coming together? And have you seen personally a substantial inflow of channel partners, MSPs as a result of this? I mean, what has the response been, and how has the landscape changed as a result?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been a crazy year, as I mentioned. We have definitely seen consolidation across the channel, whether it's happening within our integrator community or our vendor community or within the distribution world. Definitely, we're seeing we're seeing a lot of movement. And I think that the TD merger is providing more as a result, as I mentioned. We're taking the best of both. We're creating the best where it didn't exist before. We're able to capitalize on the operational efficiencies and the capabilities of this broad line, very large distributor, and deliver table stakes, right? So that the time and place, the inventory, the financing capabilities, but then beyond that. We're also able to keep it personal, deliver that value-added capability to our partners, to help them, drive costs out of their business and provide that next level service to their partners. And I think that as we've kind of seen this consolidation, when we hear about consolidation, I think folks tend to immediately go to, oh gosh, I have less choice, I have less services, I have less capabilities. There's less available to me. And our message back to our partners is that's not the case with TD SYNNEX. There's actually more available to them, more capabilities, more services offerings, more of a personalized approach than maybe what they received in the past.
Right. So obviously, during the course of this conversation, we've talked about a lot of those benefits, the client centricity, all the various services that TD SYNNEX can offer. Can you pinpoint some of the ways, and you've done so already, but even further, ways that TD SYNNEX is meaningfully different from competitors, others in the distribution space? What value proposition, if you were going to give an elevator pitch specific to your organization, what value proposition is unique to you?
Yeah, first of all, I would just say that TD SYNNEX is a hybrid. So yes, we are the largest broadline distributor, right? But there are so many benefits of working with us because of that. So those operational efficiencies, those capabilities, the support that we can provide because of that, and then combine that with the value-added offering that we provide to our partners. So I mentioned vertical market practices. We have practice builders around certain technologies. There's a lot of support and capability beyond just delivering product that we provide to our partners, again, to help them offset some of their expense, some of their overhead, so that they can be a little bit more efficient as a corporation or as a business, and be able to focus on what they do best and in delivering that the experiential design services and the capabilities and the expertise to their partners. The other thing I would say is that TD SYNNEX offers full solutions, so end-to-end technology and support for that technology. So whether it's AV or it's IT or it's CE, things like IoT or analytics, cloud-based services. And then I talked a little bit about the financing and other capabilities that we have in place. One of the areas that we've seen significant demand over the past 18 to 24 months with our partners is a need for help around network security. And so that's an example of where we're differentiated. We have the value-added capabilities and support within the AV and visual solutions world, but then we also are able to provide that next level support to help our partners deliver or meet the demands of their customers. So with network security, we have a practice builder program in place to help support them as they are trying to enhance or expand their offering. We have services like pen testing. I had a number of integrators over the past year tell me that they can't even complete a design until they can show that they can do things like penetration testing and things like that. And so we've put services in place to help support them. And that's where we're a little bit different, right? So end-to-end support, we're hybrid. And then the other thing I would say is that it is personal to us. So we may have the capabilities of a large company, but this is a personal business to us. Our partnerships are everything. And so being able to have that next level relationship with our customers, whether it's our vendor customers or our integrator customers, really helps us understand their pain points and then put services in place and capabilities in place to help support them.
Right. So as an executive with one of the leading organizations in our industry, and as someone who is, very well known and respected within our commercial AV community, I want to take this opportunity to get your thoughts on where we might be going in 2022. It's obviously a very uncertain time, what with the pandemic and supply chain issues, et cetera, but it's also a time of relatively robust economic growth. And obviously the innovation is at an all-time high and just continuing in our industry. So is your feeling relatively optimistic about where we are going broadly in 2022? Do you have anything you're particularly excited about in the AV industry, the associated IT industry, about TD SYNNEX itself? What do you have on your mind as we look forward to the next several months?
It's gonna be a great year. First of all, I would say it's a really great time to be in AV, and it's a really great time to have IT expertise to support the expansion and the innovation that we're seeing around cohesive solutions, experiential, design and that type of thing. I think that, we're expecting to see, a full recovery by the end of, 2022. A full return to public space, return to work, whatever that's going to mean. But improving the consumer and the coworker experience requires technology. This cohesive technology solutions require that expertise. And so we feel that our integrators are best positioned to help deliver what consumers need and what their end customers need right now. And we feel like the combined TD SYNNEX organization with the added services that we're providing, the levels of expertise that we have in each of the meaningful and relevant technologies, and the partnerships that we have across the vendor community, we feel like we're best positioned to support them as they're preparing for this ride. So I think it's going to be a great year. I'm really excited about being a part of this industry. It's such a fun industry. Can't wait to get back to face, a little bit less virtual, a little bit more face. But definitely as we're completing the integration and we're able to deliver that next level capabilities to our partners, it's going to be an exciting year.
Absolutely. Here's to all of that. And I look forward to seeing you hopefully at a show very, very soon. I miss the face-to-face as well. So last question, my journalism 101 question, which is there anything I may have forgotten to ask you that you would like to discuss?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that, our message is clear, right? So, the partnerships that we have with our integrators, the partnerships that we have with our manufacturing vendor partners, and our industry, partners are critical to our success, right? We've learned over the past 18 to 24 months that, relationships are everything, and that, there's nothing that we can't overcome when we approach it together. And so, again, that's something I'm very excited about with this industry. And I think that, we're going to see more of that over the next year. The one thing I would just say is, if partners want to reach out to us, they can reach me directly at sandys@synnex.com. It's still synnex.com. It will change, but it's sandys@synnex.com. And, we're here to help, support. We're nothing without our partners.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much once again, Sandi, for taking some time to chat with me this morning amid obviously a very, very busy time for you and the entire TD SYNNEX organization. So happy to have been joined by Sandi Stambaugh, Senior Vice President, Endpoint Solutions with TD SYNNEX. And I do look forward to seeing you and the entire team, hopefully in person sooner rather than later. But once again, I appreciate the time.
Thanks, Dan.